Here are some of the best indie games and indie game developers to watch going into 2024. BUDD is a cute sci-fi adventure platforming Metroidvania-style game by developer Engineer Kappa, heavily inspired by games and anime from the late 80s. This is from the description for the game that was up during the Christmas Sonic Amateur Games Expo event from a couple weeks ago. Step into the boots of Eris, a bounty hunter in training who crash lands on the mysterious alien planet of Verdio. To make her way home, she'll find one of many Bud units, versatile helper drones that aid in combat and traversal. After escaping Verdio, Eris will uncover the secrets of not only her crash, but the colony that hired her, and the entire Lumina system. During combat, Eris can use her Bud units to attack the enemy, extend a combo, or open up opportunities for extra damage. With each new level earned, Eris becomes more skilled and powerful, unlocking new abilities to overcome the Lumina system's many challenges. The pixel art in this game is oozing with charm. It has great sound effects and draws some heavy inspiration from the early Metroid games, but with some more modern design sensibilities that make it more accessible and even more fun to play and watch. I love this. I'm not a big Metroidvania fan, but I love the presentation of BUDD. It has Metroid vibes, Mega Man vibes, part of it even reminds me of Commander Keen. The combat is nice and satisfying, little numbers pop out of the enemies when you hit them, like in Cave Story. You can tell a lot of polish went into it, much like the next game on the list, Dreamshot Fantasia. This game is nothing if not polished. The art looks like it's straight out of a modern Studio Ghibli movie. Dreamshot Fantasia is a tile-matching puzzle game by a new game studio calling themselves Miracle that redefines tried-and-true color-matching action. With an authentic 80s anime aesthetic, inspired by countless creators and an exotic electronic synth-based soundtrack, Dreamshot Fantasia honors the legacy of the past while carving out an identity of its own. Shoot tiles onto the game field from the left and right in this new spin on the genre, and guide Judy through a neo-futuristic adventure to the capital city where she hopes to unlock the secrets of her precious pocket watch. If you like Tetris or similar puzzle games and anime art styles, this is a must-play. Dreamshot Fantasia plays sort of like Tetris or Tetris Attack, but the blocks come in from the side instead of the top, and you get to choose which side you send the blocks to. It adds an extra layer of complexity to the game without making it overly complicated. There are only a couple days left for the Kickstarter of this project, so if you're interested, try not to wait. Check out the Kickstarter page linked below and see if this is something you want to support. I got my pledge in. Next up is Froggun Encore, the sequel to Froggun, the low-polygon 3D platformer made by developer Molgato, where your grappling gun is a frog, and your best friend. Froggun's been around for a while now, but I never gave it a try because the gameplay looked a little slow. Some other people must have thought the same thing because Molgato specifically stated that this new version is faster. Something I was happy to hear because I love the presentation of Froggun. I've always been a huge fan of the low-poly PS1 anime art style, pioneered by games like Mega Man Legends and Brave Fencer Musashi, and Froggun is no exception. But the art isn't all this game has going for it. The gameplay's fun, the automatic camera is nearly perfect, there's tons of level variety with different collectibles, different enemies, and much like the previous two games I mentioned, just overall a lot of polish and care. Hoptics is a self-proclaimed movement playground game made by Cat Burglar Games about the intrinsic joy of motion. This immediately caught my attention since that's one of the main reasons I love playing video games. Play as Rocket, a cyborg rabbit who is as cute as they are radical. Explore, race, and stunt on roller coasters and skate parks in idyllic places. Inspired by games like the classic 2D Sonic titles, the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series, and Super Smash Bros. Melee of all things. Specifically the break the target stages in that. There's a lot of target breaking in this game. Or not. There are different modes. You can break the targets, or you can just try to make your way through the levels as quickly as possible. This game is, for better and for worse, exactly what it sounds like. It almost feels like a PC version of the Sonic Advance trilogy, except there aren't any enemies or bosses or collectibles. It is fun to run around in Hoptics, and it controls pretty well, but there doesn't seem to be much else going on outside of that. I had fun with it, and I'm sure many of you will too, so go try out the demo if this is something that interests you. Luma Legacy. I'm sorry, can we just take a minute to appreciate how good this menu music is? Just one sec. Listen to that. It's beautiful. Luma Legacy is a fast-paced action platformer developed by Darian Gonzalez, aka Plum510, about three young multivas, Alex Bingo Rivero, Salomon Avery, and Roy Cruz on their journey to stop D-Tech from invading their home of Neotown. The trio is forced to put their skills to the test to conquer many challenges, defeat countless foes, and explore exotic locations with various abilities and the help of elemental charges. Luma Legacy is a lot like Freedom Planet. If you've played that and enjoyed it, you'll probably like this. It's crazy how many games there are out there now like Freedom Planet. There are almost more Freedom Planet-like indie games now than there are Sonic-like games, which is funny since Freedom Planet obviously draws a heavy amount of inspiration from Sonic the Hedgehog. You run fast, you beat up enemies, you know the drill. Okay, so hear me out. Sleigh Bells by Miles Games. This looks childish and cartoony as heck, but gosh darn if I didn't have a fun time playing it. I think this may have just been a little game jam style project for the developer, made for Christmas Sage. So instead of recommending this, I'm just gonna say keep an eye on Miles Games' social media for future projects. It looks like they're an artist as well as a game developer, and this is actually the same person that brought us Bubs' Big Blowout, one of the games I mentioned in my last Sage video, which was also a lot of fun.
Yeah, shut up, kid!
So I'm gonna keep my eye on this developer. And last up is Tori Saturn. I've talked about Tori in the past, but the developer, Cyactro, made yet another little Tori game, Tori Jolly Jam, for this year's Christmas Sage event. And yeah, it was fun as always. Tori Jolly Jam is a short, speed-based, one-level 3D platformer in a wintry holiday coating that rewards the player with certain goodies. A perfect little snack while we wait for the full-course meal that will be Tori Saturn. If you want to hear my thoughts on the Tori Saturn demo released earlier this year, watch my video on screen for the main Sage 2023 event. These are the main indie games and developers that I'll be keeping an eye out going into 2024. This started just as a Sage Christmas video, but then I realized there were more indie games than there were fan games that I was interested in. And I wanted to get something out there to celebrate indies in the new year that's almost upon us. So I figured what better way than to promote some awesome indie developers. So what do you think of the games showcased here? Any favorites? Anything I missed that you think I should check out? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and Happy New Year!